So we're going to start this podcast. The audio is good. You guys have already confirmed that. We're just, I guess there's a delay. See, I'm going to raise my hand. See? So we have a few second delay, which is not a big deal. But if you guys want to introduce yourself real quick so everybody knows who's here. If you have any specific question for that contractor, we'll start to my right. You can introduce yourself.
My name is Jesus with Red Wolf Electric.
Jesus with Red Wolf Electric, and then you guys, I'm Rudy with Right Wire Electric, and then to my left, you.
Oh, hey everybody, I'm with Energize Us.
Anthony, all things electric, happy to be here.
My name is Andy with Energize Electric.
Woo. Somebody said, what's this for? Anyone have an answer to that?
That's a really good question to start off with.
I think that's where we should start.
Yeah. What is this for?
All of us hanging out. I think this is mainly just to get together. We have so many different we don't have so many opportunities where we can contribute or collaborate together, especially when it comes to the skilled trades.
Yeah. So we're pushing education. We're pushing one community. We're pushing networking with each other. You know what I mean? If I'm in Orange County and I have a job in LA, if we're all communicating and networking together, I can refer you a job. If you have a job in Orange County that you don't want, you can let me have it. If I have a job somewhere else, it's about knowing who we are and knowing who you are. So we're going to tie this in. We have an event coming on Saturday, right? We have about 60 people coming, so we're going to be there.
That number's actually gone up. So there's on the books RSVP between 80 to 90 people.
Wow. So we're going to have 80 to 90 people at our event on Saturday. And it's obviously designed to bring us together. Now that we have this wonderful thing that we call the internet, we can communicate with you guys. We can talk about issues. We can show you how I do things. He can show you how he runs his business. He can show you how he runs his business. So the point is for you to grow and for us to grow. This is the reason why I'm investing the time into it, because I believe in this group. If I didn't believe in this group, then I would not be here, but I'm here and I'm happy to be here. And we're just gonna, I guess we're gonna call it a freestyle. We're gonna see where this leads. If you guys have any questions, post your questions, we'll pin it, but we will be having more events so that everybody grows. I'm thinking about doing one hopefully soon at my personal house, and we're probably gonna open it up to probably everybody. Last time we did it only for contractors. If you're an apprentice or a journeyman and then you have questions, business questions, we're probably just going to open it up to everybody. If we have general contractors that are looking for electricians in your area, we're probably going to welcome also a few general contractors, because as a subcontractor, we rely on you to give us work. So everybody wins. We're all here to win.
Absolutely. I have actually a couple general contractors I work with that I've invited that are coming for that exact reason. There's so much that we need to know about how their process is and how we can help them and be better subs, and then have an open format, just like we want to have a community to where we can be transparent between each other. Same thing with the contractors. And then to mention what you said about not only giving jobs to each other if you're in LA County or in Riverside and things like that, but also manpower. How many times have you needed a guy or two for a few days or one day, or I have a handful of people that I can now ask, hey dude, can you give me a guy for a day? I'm just trying to get some roughing done. That is huge to be able to have a network of also qualified helpers, because that's one of the biggest challenges I think that us as employers have, is finding qualified help. You know what I mean? How many guys do you have to hire, train, figure out if they're going to work out or they're going to fit, and then have to let them go and find somebody else? So to be able to have somebody vetted that's you trust already, that you can lend to me it's huge, I think.
Yeah. And another aspect, what I love about this is just this alone is coast to coast. There's no border. We literally have Connecticut to California. So there's so much we can all work together towards in synergy, going towards the same goal. And so much we can learn from East Coast to West Coast, and like just what Anthony said, working together. But one thing I wanted to touch on that I actually forgot to bring up with Rudy, he said something beautiful about the shared manpower. What did you say, Rudy? Remember, it said the fruit?
If you want the fruit, you have to plant the tree.
And that's the same thing. Now that ties in line with what you're saying, sharing the manpower. But as a school, as an education center, instead of going out there looking for other qualified people or posting, I need someone with 2 years experience minimum, let's create our own ecosystem. Let's train everybody in-house, build these guys up, and then we can share within each other. Because there's many times where you'll need a guy for a week or two,
Yes.
but you don't want to send a posting out because now you're tying down to almost hiring someone for full
You
time.
get flooded with DMs. And,
When you don't know who you're going to get.
yeah.
You could have somebody waste your money. You could have somebody, mess something up, cause catastrophic damage because you were testing them out. They said they were journeymen. They could do a lot of things. Next thing you know, they're stealing from a customer, from a project. They cut something they weren't supposed to cut. Half the power of the building went. There's so many things that can go wrong by trying somebody out one day. So,
And then what I love about having Andy here, Jesus here, Anthony here, Rudy here, is you guys as locals, everyone's going through something different. Everyone's at a different stage too.
absolutely.
Jesus is in a different stage than Rudy. Yet both of you have experience that can literally help me out, especially if I'm just jumping in, and vice versa around. So that's why we wanted to have such a diverse panel of knowledge, experience, and years in business, because we can literally go through question by question, see from their experience, see what they physically done, and see, hey, is that something I want to imitate? Yes, then follow it. Is that something I want to imitate? No, then all right, that might not work for me, might work for somebody else.
And I think this is huge. The fact that this is now a thing where, when you first start, you have all these questions. And when I first started my company, I didn't know where else to turn. There's so many questions I have, and having this community, you can feed back. Even to this day, I still have a lot of questions, and I see how other people run their business, and that makes sense, that doesn't make sense, or whatever it is. But at least you're learning from other companies, and
You get the cheat codes.
Huge.
You get the cheat codes. I mean, and I've been open about it with Rudy. Dude, I was lost. I started my business great. I had some work, but I didn't know how to do it. Even charge a customer. What should I be doing? What software are you using? QuickBooks or this or that? Do you have an accountant? Are you guys on payroll? You know what I mean? And luckily, I was introduced to Rudy, and he invited me over to the shop, and dude, downloaded me with the cheat codes, and it gave me something to okay, let me go get that now. Let me go find somebody that can help me with this now. Let me do this and that. And then that's what we're gonna have at the event Saturday. Is there's people that are thinking about going into business, and there's people that just started. They're gonna be able to ask you and Rudy and me and everybody get the cheat codes.
Yeah, and it opens up your mind to all these possibilities of hey, this is somewhere I should probably build my company towards, because they did it. Now it's possible. And then they tell you, hey, Rudy, with all these lifts, it's so much more efficient running a job on lifts. We were just having this conversation right now, having the job at a lift, at a site, your guys are not on ladders, so they won't fall off of them. It's faster. They don't have to go up and down ladders, so you're more efficient with your time. So it's huge, but you do have to make that investment to get a lift.
Yeah.
But is it profitable? Is it good? Yeah. What did Rudy ask me as soon as I got it? Hey, did that lift already pay for itself, or was it worth it? Hell yeah, it's worth it.
Well, and then you and I had a side conversation before, and you told me, the advice you told me is, I'm creating all these excuses of why maybe I won't hire another guy right now, or maybe I won't do this, get the vehicle, and you're you're never going to be ready. You won't know if you're ready. It's something that you just have to do, and you'll figure it out. It's true.
At the worst case, you just have to lay him off.
I know.
But it creates that sense of urgency. Now you know that you have another person you have to find work for,
Keeps the drive.
and it gives you that sense of urgency that I need to get more work. I need to get more. So it makes you more productive with your time. You have people relying on you, so it makes you, get more work. And it just falls. It just keeps going and keeps going.
And I feel for a lot of us, because I can speak on my experience alone, opening up shop is one of the hardest decisions we all have to make. We take the jump, and half of us is scared to make another harsh decision or another risk. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
we already made one, now let's play conservative. it's like once you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, that's when change and progress keeps coming, I feel like.
And you have to be that kind of person, or if you're not already, become and learn how to be that kind of person that can trust the process, trust yourself, and take the risk.
You're betting on yourself.
Yeah.
So did you bet on yourself to open up shop and then just pull out? Now no more, I'm not betting on myself, let's play conservative. But then you're back to where you were in the beginning. So it's, yeah, exactly. You got to make the move. And then instead of putting 50 on red, now we're put 100 on red. You got to keep betting on yourself. What do you think, Andy?
Not just that, but I mean, that's a really good point. You also have to, at least for me, you got to be in it for the long run. You got to make the jump, and then you can't come into this type of business and expect to have like a quick result. You know,
like one round.
This type of thing takes a long time to get it right. I mean, these two guys will know that when they first started, they probably didn't know what the next 3 or 4 or 5 steps, or maybe even not even the next step was. But you just got to keep going, right? Taking those steps, figuring things out, trying things, and failing and failing and failing and failing. Just like on what Will had his master class on too, is the word succeed, right? You gotta, if you're in it for the long run, you will eventually succeed, but you have to stay in it. So I know if you guys are having like a tough time with your business right now or whatever it is, just stay persistent, stay in it, and just remind yourself that you're in it for the long run, and think something will come, some solution will come. That's helped me a lot, because it's definitely hard starting a business. It's my first year, so.
So do we have any requests there for anybody who wants to go live?
Not yet.
Not
There's
yet.
a couple good questions on there.
We do have a question coming in of what 5 key attributes would you look for in a first year apprentice?
How about everybody ask one attribute, one quality? There's 5 of us.
So I'll start first.
He's going to take the best one.
Just being reliable.
Yeah.
Showing up, even if you know nothing. Showing up, and you're going to be the go-getter. To me, that means, hey, go get this box, sweep this up. You know, you can help me so much without even not being an electrician, but just like, dude, go get me a bit, go get me this, charge my batteries, go get me a 12.2, a 14.2. So you can be an asset to my company, even if you're not even an electrician. You can be a helper, a low-level helper, but obviously the number one thing that I look for is consistency, that you show up every day.
I like that. I like how that applies, because especially with skilled trades, I don't know if you guys agree, a lot of skilled trades, working with your hands and mechanically inclined, translate to all trades. Right? You can be a plumber, you just, hey, give me a pair of pliers. You know what that is. Hey, cut this, you know what that means. So working with your hands, I like that. For a first year apprentice, I look for somebody who's hungry to learn, who came into the trade with the right intentions. That's me personally, because a lot of people want to come in for the money. Sadly, like we said on the last few lives, people are coming in, yes, because they see influencers who are in the trade, but they're coming in because they want to be influencers for the trade. So you want to make sure they have the right intention and they're hungry to learn. That's me personally.
Everything you guys said is exactly what I would say, and then I'll just add, attitude. I feel like one bad apple on a team can throw it all off. You could be all of those things. You could be reliable, you can be a quick learner, a go-getter, but if you're the type of guy that has an attitude that starts talking shit on the boss, kind of just creating a toxic environment, you're not really jiving with people on the job site, maybe the plumbers, you're obnoxious, your personality trait can also throw me off. So I think you got to have a good attitude, humble, and apply yourself with the other things that Dad said.
For me, I would probably say honesty. You got to be an honest guy, honest person, to, fess up when you do something wrong.
Absolutely.
Be honest that you don't know something, so we show you the way that we want you to do it.
That's very good.
Don't pretend like you've done this or done that. Just be straight up. Just be honest. And definitely what Rudy said. for sure.
I feel a big quality is being persistent. I think that shows a lot, especially if you're trying to apply and you want to work for somebody, being persistent. And I get that feeling that they really want the job when they're constantly being persistent on sending applications, wanting to be there, and that shows me that they do want to be an electrician and they're not wasting your time. So being persistent.
So don't give up. I know it's hard to get in, and me and Will were talking about this, that you want the fruit, but you don't want to invest in planting the tree, right? So a lot of guys, business owners, I get this a lot, right? They'll say, oh, well, they don't want to hire anybody with 2 years or less experience. We all have to wake up. We have to create our electricians. You can't put those hurdles in and then complain that there's nobody out there when you're not contributing to getting that guy in that's green. Okay, so it's also, I don't have that problem. I'll hire you if you're green. I don't if your attitude's good and you're persistent and you're mechanically inclined, and most important, you're going to show up every single day, I will hire you. Okay, I don't ask for 2 years. Sometimes I do, depending on the project, but I have personally made plenty of electricians, meaning I was the first one to open the door for them. And as business owners, we all have to contribute. If we're lacking electricians and then you're not doing nothing about it as a business owner, it's your fault. You don't have the right to complain.
I have a question for you, Rudy, on that topic. Now that you have qualified people on your team, do you train all of these new green people personally, or do you have people on your team that you trust that can train them like you would?
Exactly.
Because I feel like I'm the only one right now that can train the new guy that I bring on for now.
So I have guys on my team that been with me for a lot of years, and if I get a green guy, I'm like, dude, you're part of the team. He's in charge, you listen to him, and then we start molding them to how we do things here.
Okay. And how long does that take?
I mean, for residential, you can be a good residential wireman, I'm thinking in a good year and a half, if you apply yourself. Commercial and bending pipe, it just takes more time, like the stuff that you're doing. We do commercial and residential also, so I have guys that can do both, and then I have guys that can bend pipe, but they're good at roping. So, use your team, use their skills where they're needed. I have a good diverse group that I have guys that they can, do the low voltage, they can do the residential, they can do the commercial work. But going back to the question about a good apprentice, that's what we require. You know what I mean? Again, it's everybody's responsibility. If you're complaining that there's no apprentices out there, you have to make them.
I love that.
That's a really good point, that you have to make them. So I recently interviewed a bunch of people because I'm hiring right now, and one of the questions that we ask them is, what are 3 things that your previous employer could have done better? And the number one question that they always said was communication. All these apprentices, all these electricians and journeymen that are out there looking for new jobs, they say that their employers just don't communicate well. So we're talking about what we would want from a new hire or an apprentice. Now we should probably also consider what they want from us, right? Is to communicate with them well, teach them well, set them up, and what Rudy does is he doesn't go old school and like talk down to the apprentices and bash on them.
The knuckle buster.
Yeah, exactly. There's pranks are cool. Pranks are good, but like if you're gonna be like bashing your apprentices, I think it's not in the game anymore. It's not acceptable, especially with this new generation. And I think it's up to us to really kind of toe that line between being too friendly and really molding a good electrician, right? Because in order to be a good electrician, you got to be a good worker, and it takes a lot of different things.
All right, so we're going to go to the next question, which is pinned here, and this one's kind of sometimes you don't have the option to pick the one that you want. So this guy, Alex, is saying, I'm a high school graduate this year, union or private?
That's a tough question. That's a good one.
That's a good second question.
Really think about it. I'm going to run it to you like this because, I was IBW. If you don't want to work for anybody, But the first thing is the IBW even going to take you in? If you have the opportunity to get into the IBW, okay, that's the hurdle here, is that you're more likely to get into a non-union shop than a union shop, right? I guess everybody can probably agree to that, right? So if you get into the union shop, you got to understand that that's a lifetime commitment, meaning if you leave, you lose your pension and your money that you were vested in it. So you really have to know what's coming in the future, right? If you want to become a contractor, go to the union and learn, or get into a union or non-union school. Whoever takes you, get in. If you don't want to become a contractor and you want to have great benefits and you're content with your 8 hours, union or non-union is good. But again, who's going to let you in? You know, so I don't know. Your question is a little bit too vague. Like, what do you want? Where do you want to be in 5 years? You want to be a worker? You know, they're both great opportunities. You might go union and not like it. You might go non-union and not like it. You might change your mind after you're vested 10 years in the union and you leave and you lose all your pension, you lose everything. So it's not a straightforward question. I always say apply, and whoever answers that call, get in. Get the experience, because the hardest thing is getting through the door.
Correct.
Yeah, so I think there is no right answer to that. It's a really individual thing. Some people are all about the union. They love the union. They're all about it.
And then family. A lot of them are also generational.
Exactly.
Right?
If you know someone in the union, your chances are a lot higher that you're going to get in. But it's really an individual thing, and I think the question probably stems from someone that doesn't know anything about what those two paths look like after. We kind of know what they look like now, so we're like we have a good opinion about them. The new guys, people in high school, they don't know anything, right? So, what I would tell them is, in the union, there's going to be a lot of bureaucracy. If you're okay with being part of a very bureaucratic kind of, a lot of people say you gotta kiss a lot of ass, right? Then you can go that way, or you can go the private route and find a good contractor that will treat you good, and maybe the pay is not going to be as good, but you're going to have more flexibility to do all kinds of things, right? In the union, you could end up being pigeonholed to one specific thing. There's a lot of union electricians or tradespeople that just do like one or two things, and that's it, and they just get stuck there. Part of it is because of their personality, because they're not go-getters, they're not ambitious enough, whatever. But there's a higher chance of that happening in the union. I think personally, like Rudy said, both of them are great options, but it really comes down to what you personally prefer. Honestly, I think I tried to get in the union way back when, like straight out of high school, but I didn't do good on the personal interview, so I didn't get in, and now I'm here. Do I regret it?
What's that called?
Not one bit, because I gave it my best shot. So,
well, and somebody like me I went through the apprenticeship and ended up starting my own business, not as a union contractor. And I'll always say, man, I'm very appreciative of the apprenticeship. To be a well-rounded electrician, I mean, 5 years. The schooling that I had, the labs that I had, part of LA, it's a state-of-the-art facility. They had the big benders. I mean, we learned so much, and I got such great training, and I'm very grateful for that. And I think that you need to be honest with yourself and really think about, like what Rudy said, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you want to do? Are you the type of person that can run a business? Do you see yourself being somebody that can run a business? Do you see yourself commuting 2 hours, one way? Do you see yourself having to, work all the overtime? If you go 7/12s, you got to be there or else you're going to get cut. They want people, it's very demanding. So be upfront with yourself and figure out what it is you want. Yeah, there's going to be a pension, there's going to be retirement, great benefits, but you might be out of work for 3 months out of the year, depending on where you are, what part of the country, how much work there is, so you got to talk to a lot of people in all the different industries, and like you said, is get in somewhere, man. Start learning electrical, start doing it, see what you like. What do you think, Jesus?
I can only speak on experience. I've never been through the union. I've only been in non-union shop, and I can say this for my experience. I felt like I learned faster when I was not in union, because I was put in like situations where I shouldn't have been, but because there was no one else there, or the fact that, you know, there's not that many more people in that company, then I was able to talk to inspectors. I was leading people, you know, at 2 years when I shouldn't have been.
So the
but
red tape.
all those led me to what I am today. So I was able to jump and start my own company because I didn't go union, and I was able to learn more that way.
And to add to that, sorry, Andy,
That's right.
because that's a really good point, is you skipped the line as far as learning how the business is run, the ins and outs of it, change orders, all that. As an apprentice, I went 5 years without really seeing a lot of that. Yeah, I was given great projects to do, and I was given responsibility to handle the projects, but the material was ordered for me. You know, the plans were already drawn, everything was designed, everything was thought of. I was being kind of told what to do. But when I got out, I had no idea about what the foremen were doing, the general foreman, the project managers. I didn't know how change orders worked, RFIs, you know, how to manage guys. You know, there was 5 years where I didn't learn any of that. Whereas somebody like you, 3 years in, 2 years in, hey, dude, I got to go. You're going to handle this with the inspector. If there's corrections, figure it out, order the material, let's get it done. Like, there's not as much red tape. As an apprentice, you're a 40% apprentice. You're a second-year apprentice. You should be doing this. You should be sweeping. No, you're not bending pipe. You're not making up switchgear.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of, what do you call it? So, like, there's a lot of red tape.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
And red tape with the company as well, because sometimes you do learn the wrong way from companies that try to take shortcuts. So it's your judgment to know a company that is well-rounded in all aspects, that does things right and everything, because then if you're going to learn the bad way. So you got to make sure that you're in with a good company that knows what they're doing.
I love that. And I started with a non-union shop my first 2 years. Then I jumped union, was with them for close to 8. Then jumped non-union again before I went into my own shop.
Screen recording.
What? And what I learned between the two is like what these guys said. You're exposed to a lot more in a non-union shop. In a non-union shop, you're exposed to more. You're held to a higher standard. Union, you do learn a lot, don't get me wrong. I went through my apprenticeship with the union. I also got it in high school though. But with the union, you're paid to do a task and you're not paid to... I remember one thing my foreman would say is you're paid, in the union, you're paid from the neck down.
Yeah.
You're not paid to think. You're a body to them. You're not, why are we doing this? Doesn't matter. Let's do this, get paid, go home. And then when I was studying for my exam, I'm like, that beats... If this company was run any other way, well, also because we had government contracts, if this was run any other way, it wouldn't have made money. You'd lose. It's just because they had these big capital contracts that sustained the union. But I'm like, if a mom and pop shop was operating this way, there is no way we would stay in business.
When you have fat cats in those companies that keep the doors open. Right?
So that was just mine. And then once, you know, trying to not get political in it, but once you start seeing how things operate, you have different perspective on things. So take it as you want. I know Rudy says a lot. Sometimes going on your own is not for everybody. Finding a nice, secure non-union shop or union shop might be your best choice. But what I want to highlight also is the beauty of the trade. The fact that we have union and non-union, it doesn't matter. Your choice is your choice. The beauty about it is there's options out there for you. Now it's you, like what Rudy said, that question was kind of vague. So what you want to do is ask the questions. What do I want out of this? Once you ask those questions, now you see which one is more aligned with your own personal goal. There's options. Just like picking a spouse. You can get blue hair, blue eyes, you could get brown eyes, the option's yours, you know? So that's what you want to do when it comes to the trades. Hey, what's my end result of this? Everyone's telling you, oh, get that blonde hair girl, you know, I might like brunettes, you know. Find out what you want and then work towards the steps. So the same with the trades especially, I think.
So we have another question. This guy, hey guys, it's Rod. how do you go about pricing jobs that you've never done before?
Call Rudy.
Paid
Call him.
by day or still flat rate? So I don't do T&M. I'm going to give you a price from the beginning, but I don't know what you mean, like pricing jobs that you've never done before. So part of pricing jobs is being familiar with how long it's going to take to complete a specific
Baseline
task.
hours.
So it's going to be kind of hard if you're trying to price something that you've never done before. So my advice is you're going to have to figure out how many man hours you need for that specific task. That's always the first goal. And then how much material it's going to take. So it's going to be hard for you if you don't know how to do the work or how long it's going to take. So
You guys got a request to join from
All right.
Mr. Cuba H Voltage. Would you like to-
put them on.
Yeah, I would say you just got to be ready to take the L, essentially. The first one, the first two, just be ready to take the L, take a loss. You trade the loss for the learning.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
And then also, I would say, be careful. I mean, if you're your first year of business, you're taking every job, like Rudy said. I took all fart fan jobs. For my first year by myself, I was installing ducts, exhaust systems. I hated it. I learned it. By the end of the year, I was a pro at it. But if you be careful on what jobs you take just for the job. I understand you're starting off, but if you take something that you're not equipped for, now you can push it to the extreme and actually do something one you're not good at. So now your quality is going to suffer, but at the same time you're also putting a hazard. If you're messing with something that you completely don't understand or even
Get
know,
yourself killed, man.
yeah, you, and not
Especially in
just
this
you,
line of work.
not just you, but the consumer on the other end. So if you never did solar, look what's happening with Brandon right now. All these guys wanted that incentive, that tax break. So they started installing solar. Now, left and right, homeowners need new roofs out of nowhere.
And then
So-
didn't they just go belly up?
And they go belly up. And then they shut down shop. And then guess who's left with the bill now? The homeowner.
And maybe that project that you took on, lost money on, took time away from other projects that you could have been really profitable on, or other customers that could have been more valuable for either referrals or for, growing your business in a better way. You wasted all that time on a loser.
Yeah. I like that. So it's two extremes. You don't want to be in the either extreme. You don't want to take everything because there's a hazard. But at the same time, if you're starting off, yes, we understand you got to take jobs and you have to learn. Just make sure you're within those parameters, I guess, right?
Yeah, I know. I know. I said, just take the loss and learn
I know.
it.
And he's like, oh shoot.
I know. It depends on what you're trying to go
Yeah, no,
for.
but I understand
mean,
what
if you're
you
going to
mean.
lose a
See
lot
how-
of money,
Yes, I
then
understand
don't
what you
do
mean.
it. But
Bro,
I mean, if
I'm
we're
not
talking
knocking.
about...
I know exactly
You're right,
what you
because
meant.
I
know
think
exactly
I
what
should
you
check my comment before some people take on a job. They're gonna get bankrupt and they come after me like, "Hey, bro, you."
No, but you're
said
right
to take
about
this job."
small things, right?
Small things, yeah, but I need to clarify that.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah.
Like the
some
fart
people-
fans.
Small jobs are like,
Exactly.
oh man, I was here
Something
3
that-
hours when it should have taken 1.5 hours. Oh man, I broke even on this.
Yeah.
That's where you take the loss.
Or if it's a job that you'd be like, you know what, I should probably learn that because I'm probably gonna get more of those. If it's some weird one-off type jobs that you know nothing about,
I'm just gonna grab my sweater.
some jobs could actually bankrupt your company if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, Rudy's got something.
No, so was somebody going live?
I was trying to. It doesn't seem like they're on the live anymore.
They
so-
denied it.
Yeah. They requested I hit go live with them, and then they
Nobody else is requesting?
Not yet.
One thing I do want to say though is business is not for everybody. It's everybody wants to be everyone wants to have a business, right? It's like I feel like it's like a new trend almost.
It is.
And it is not it's just not for everybody, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I miss my regular job. Sometimes, I mean, before I started this job I was making over 100K, had my own office, an easy job, but I don't know, I had such a big itch that I was more stressed at that awesome job than I was after I quit and was making like zero money. It was a weird thing for me. But I say that to say that really give some deep thought, because I thought about it for 2 years. I got ready. I read books. I listened to podcasts. I changed my mentality. I really did change the way I thought. I opened and closed doors in my head, and I feel like not a lot of people do that. and they start businesses, and then they make promises that they can't keep. Because I've seen it a couple times, and I just want people to understand that it's a big issue, or it's a big deal trying to start a business. And maybe instead of being an entrepreneur, you could be an intrapreneur, and that's somebody that you take your mindset and you just apply it to someone's existing business. So you don't take on any of the risk, you don't take on any of the super late nights and all the stress, but you can negotiate. Everything is negotiable. So that's one thing I want you guys to understand as well. So as an entrepreneur, you can go to any company and be like, hey, I got these ideas, I'm really hungry, I want to do this and that, let's negotiate this or that. Right now you could be kind of a partner. So
Well, you see what Rudy does. Oh, here he goes.
What do I do?
I mean, for context about what Andy's saying is starting your own business is not for everyone.
Not true.
If you're a solo company, right, owner operator, then you can make that business work for you. Your schedule can work for you. That's fine. But once you get to that level where you have employees, Rudy's here till 8 or 9 o'clock at night every night, doing bids, doing estimates. You know what I mean? You might do what, 3 or 4 in a night? Big bid. I mean,
One a day, try to space them out because they're going to add up. You don't want
They're gonna
Friday
add
to
up.
come and you got 8 bids to do. You know what I mean? So you have to pump them out as soon as. And not only that, if you sit on them too long, people lose hope in you. You know what I mean?
And then what are you doing on the weekend, right? So we always see you on the weekends preparing for the week, preparing for the next year, buying equipment, going to auction. If you don't enjoy that, your business kind of has to be your hobby too, in a way.
It is. It's going to absorb all that extra time.
Yeah. All right. So we have another question, Dumbski408, and it's pinned. Big piece of advice to passing the test for your J card. Well, you have to be ready for it. You know what I mean? First thing, hopefully you're prepared for it. You studied, you took a crash course, or like me, didn't study.
Yeah.
Just went and took it to test the water to see what I was up against. But I guess my best advice, don't go in there nervous. It's going to be your biggest enemy. Just walk in like it's another day.
One
Got
thing.
someone trying to join right now, Alberto Giraldo.
Put them on.
Remember, and also the people who jump on, just a heads up, we're going to have 3 to 5 minute timers just so we can get the most people on as possible.
Not too many people are requesting to join.
Oh, gotcha. One thing, a piece of advice that I recommend others to do when preparing for their journeyman exam, one is, where are you from? The reason why, on the East Coast, we use PSI. On the West Coast, you guys too?
PSI also.
If you guys use PSI, guess what? Go on PSI.com and they have the last year's practice exam. You can go to last year's 2022 or 2023 and look at the practice exam for last year. You can pay $75. When I did it, it was $75 and you can get 50 questions of last year's exam. Number two, when you go and you fail an exam by PSI, when you first apply for PSI, you can't pay for it afterwards. But when you apply for an exam through PSI and you get approved, you check the box. If you fail the exam, you can do exam review. What they will do is when you fail the exam and they say, hey, you failed, you can now look at the 9, 10, 12 questions that you got wrong. It won't tell you the answer. It'll tell you what you got wrong, and you can look in your code book to find the answer. So now when you go for your retest, at least you know you're not going to get stumped by those 9 questions. But you can't pay for that after you take the exam. Before you take the exam and you apply, yes, people are like, ooh, I don't have that extra $60. I only have $150. Let me take the test and just, experience it. I found that out when I failed it. They said, oh, you did not opt in for the exam review. They don't tell you what you got right. So the ones you guessed on, just hope you guessed right.
Yeah.
The ones you fail, though, they will tell you which one you just blatantly got wrong, and you have 30 minutes to review each one, find the right answer in your code book. You can't change it, but at least you know what you're getting into for the next one.
That's a gem right there.
Yeah.
And maybe don't guess.
I never took my,
You really do that.
I never took the journeyman license exam, but I did take a lot of journeyman level exams because I used to work in manufacturing. I was a maintenance electrician. So a similar test is an instrumentation technician exam, and it has a lot of calculations and all kinds of stuff. My advice would be just to take as many practice exams as you can, as many times. Even if you've already taken that specific one, just take it as many times as you can. Just get your mind used to scrolling through the code book, getting good at finding the answers, and that's really mine. Just read as much as you can, and take as many practice exams as you can.
I like what Rudy said, and I think that's, at this point, you don't need to worry. There is so much help out there. There are so many resources for you to take. If you fail, just pay another $100, take it again. I think the biggest thing out of this whole thing is you should be proud that you got approved to take the exam.
Yeah, that's the first.
I think that's number one.
That's very true.
Congratulations.
That's very
Congratulations.
true.
I mean, if you fail 2-3 times, all right, that's going to start hurting. It's going to start feeling sore.
Dude, but never give up, right? I know a guy failed it like 6 times, dude.
Yeah.
Called me up, dude, I passed it.
Oh,
He was a bad test taker.
yeah.
That was his problem.
There's that too.
He was a bad
Yeah.
test taker, and that's why
that too.
usually my advice for people is do what you had mentioned recently on live. Get the wheels greased, dude. When you first start, you might be nervous. I get a little nervous when I start taking a test. I know I have a time limit, and the first question I read is something that I'm like, oh, dude, where am I going to find?
And it's always that first one.
Dude,
You're like, oh.
skip it until you're like, oh, like wire fill. That's a chart question. Boom. And then you start getting the wheels greased. Now, I'm answering questions. I know this one. And you skip and save. You bookmark, right?
Yep.
And then when you're done, you got, 40, 30 bookmarked?
Easy.
Run through those. Oh, I don't know that one, actually. I don't know that. And now you whittled it down to 15, whittled it down to 10. And all of a sudden, you're like, dude, I got an hour left. I can actually find all these answers.
Yeah, that's what I
That's-
personally did.
Yeah.
When you go through the entire test, and what I said with Rudy is, you're allowed to bring your code book with you. So in theory, if you had all the time in the world, you can get 100 on this exam. So the test is not what do you know, because you can find it in the
Yeah.
book. So all off the bat, you already know the purpose of this exam is not what I know. You're allowed to cheat in the book. You just have a time frame. So the test itself is the exam. It's a project management exam. You have 120 questions to answer in 4 hours. You have 30 questions per hour. That means you have 2 minutes per question. They flood you with questions, scramble it up, and say basically, figure it out. The exam is a project management exam. And when you're open business, your entire job is a project management exam. It's not about how do you wire something up. We already have the hard skills. It's how do you manage all of it. The test itself is a project management exam. So when I figured that out, I attacked the test in a systematic way. I went through the entire test. They're all scrambled. So I'm like, if I go one by one, I'm gonna run out of time. So what I did was go 1 through 120, and I just skip, and I answered all the questions I knew off the top of my head. And I'm talking about there's some really ridiculous easy questions. For example, it said, what color is the ground screw? Green, correct. Next question. Next thing, it was the green screw is called what? And I'm like, no freaking way. Ground screw. How many points of contact do you need on a ladder? What? But yet, when I went through 1 through 20, so as I was answering all the ones I knew off the top of my head, which was 30, 40, right off the rip, then I marked everything on one specific topic. For example, I went through, and as I was answering it, I marked all the solar questions. Boom, 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 boom. Because the test, once again, it's a project management exam. So instead of worrying about going through pages, I stayed in one section, and I knew these next 10 questions are in these 4 pages. I'm gonna get 100 on them. Boom, boom, boom. And as I answered the solar, then I marked another topic, pools. Boom, 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 boom. Stayed in freaking 3 pages of pools, answered all of them. By the end of it, I failed it the first time by 1 question. I was pissed. Second time I did, I got 92. Just because I attacked it systematically.
Systems. I was just about to say that. Systems, bro.
All right, so we have another question here. Antonio Ova Sanchez 27. So, okay, I hear the hard part of being a business owner of a company for the electrical. When does the benefits start? Vacation, family time, and money. So whenever you want. You your own boss. You know, if I don't want to come into work all next week, bro, I'll sleep in. That's when the benefit comes. But also the financial benefits. You know, you're more likely to be more successful working for yourself than working for the man. Okay, so there's a lot of benefits. Not only that, the tax benefits of it. You know what I mean? So the benefits come the first day. The first day you're gonna have benefits. You just have to know which ones they are. Me personally, I don't pay for dinners, I don't pay for clothes, I don't pay for fuel, meaning on my personal account. I swipe that company card all day long. Company pays for everything. So there's plenty of benefits besides you being your own boss and you making your own schedule and you not coming in whenever you want. The benefit is I don't have to ask my boss if I don't, you know, oh, can I miss next week? I'm going to the river. Those are all benefits. So from day one, you're going to benefit.
I think in line with that is, but take in mind whatever sacrifice, whatever benefit you take, there's a sacrifice that has to come with it. True or not? You guys agree?
Yeah.
If you do sleep in next week,
I'm going to be backed up.
Those are those 5 bids that you just talked about. You have to do 1 a day.
Yeah.
Now you have 2 a day.
Yeah.
The week after.
Consequences.
Yes, there's consequences to it. So it's high risk, but high reward with high risk.
Yeah.
High risk. Or you could be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it really depends on how you want to build your company. Because if you're going, you know, straight off the bat trying to start your company and with that mindset, you know, you're not going to get very far. You're not going to get very much. Like Rudy's saying, he's talking like this, but how many years did it take you to build the company you have now, where you're able to take that time off? Because in the beginning, you're not going to be able to have that time off. And if you do have time off, then you're not going to build something good. That's for sure.
I'm just now recently getting out of the phase of, if I wasn't around on the weekends to go meet with customers, to bid work, to schedule it for the next day, I mean, I might not have had work for the second half of the week. So I had to, and then I was working all week in the field on the bags with my one guy, to where I wasn't answering as many phone calls. If I was answering, okay, I can meet you Saturday, or like 6-7 o'clock at night, I can meet you. So those weekend hours were when I would go bid jobs, try and quote them, and then sell them, and so I can schedule, oh, can we schedule it for Thursday? And I would pretend that I had an opening. Oh, actually, I had a cancellation for Thursday. Good news for you. I can go ahead and get you in on Thursday. Not make it seem like I was trying to find work. But, I mean, I was clawing and scratching for a while. And so, what, am I going to go on vacation every other weekend, go camping? Dude, I wanted to go camping with my kids. But I had to sacrifice that time because I knew I needed work for the one employee that I had that I was trying to build upon. And so, it's a sacrifice. And now I feel like I got contracted work. I got a couple weeks out that I know I'm good. I could probably take a weekend off and be okay.
Just speak from your experience, whatever you see.
I got
a little bit in this question. I mean, I
Yeah.
started my company out of college.
Wait,
So.
what's your name, brother?
I'm Tommy. I'm the marketing director for Energize Us. So I'm the man always behind the camera.
Appreciate what you do, brother.
Thank you.
So I'm always all around these guys, but no one really sees my face much.
This is Jack Harlow's doppelganger right here.
The lookalike.
Yeah, we've seen Jack Harlow and him in the same room.
Yeah.
You see Chad?
It's the double right here. So what age did you start your business?
I was 22. I had just graduated college, and I got a degree in economics and finance, and I did it for like 2 weeks. And then I ended up going into like construction, excavation for 3 months to kind of build up some money. And then I started my own media and marketing company, which is where I met Will. And then Will, about a year later, hit me up and he was like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? And I saw the vision and now I'm here. But it was definitely, you kind of you have to be careful, because when you do own your own business, it's like, oh, my friends are going to do this tonight, I could take tomorrow off. And then like you were saying, if I take tomorrow off, I could lose job opportunities from not responding to potential clients for the next week. So if you're not always, you know, on top of those things, you could really fall behind, and then your business just goes belly up, and then you don't have any work.
And that's in the beginning. It's not always going to be like that.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you have to be dedicated to and mindful of that you're going to get through that phase and work at getting to the next level where you're set up now with work scheduled, lined up, your reputation,
Exactly.
so that you're not clawing and scratching trying to get those jobs. But in the beginning, you have to do what you got to do. You're out at dinner with your family or with your friends. You're the one on your phone, dude. Sorry, I got to answer this. It's 7 o'clock at night. I got to answer this because it's about tomorrow's job.
Yeah, but you got to understand the way you structure your business is going to give you the opportunity to be able to take some time off. If your company just revolves around you and you take some time off, then you have no company. So you have to make sure you have those people to be able to run your company, to be able to step aside, and then it still make money like a machine. But to create that's a whole different process and everything.
Set a goal to get there.
Exactly.
In my first 3 years, I wasn't thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going with where it took me, taking the jobs, doing the work, and I was, let me get more guys. Oh, I got so much work. Let me hire a guy. I need a vehicle. Okay, and since meeting Will and a lot of these other people that are ahead of me, they've opened my eyes to that. They're like, dude, you got to set goals for yourself. You want to be like this? You should be thinking about how to replace yourself.
And I'm not knocking down people that are like one-man shop and all that. But I'm just saying to a certain point, like if you want to get to a certain level or whatever, being able to take some time off, then you need to stay, know how your business is structured to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, maybe there are some people that want to stay small.
Exactly.
They want to stay.
If they want to stay, they're
just
comfortable
me
the way
and
they are.
one guy, and I'll just knock out some jobs and.
Exactly.
That's all. That's fine too.
It goes back to that longevity question, though, right? That Will's always asking. What are you going to do when you're older?
Exactly.
Can you do that? Can you be in the field when you're older?
We got a new question that came in.
Well, basically, I don't have to be in the field. I'm confident that the guys that I have can handle it. But I'm not going to sit at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to go be part of the team. I'm going to go and check on them, even though if they don't need any checking on, you know what I mean? Because the jobs just keep coming and they come out good, no issues. So when you have a track record of good production, no issues on your job, everything gets wired correctly, you feel like I don't have to check on my jobs. I trust my employees. But me, the way that I am, I just want to go look, you know what I mean? I want to go physically look at the job. Even if I know they're 100% good, I just get the satisfaction of looking at the jobs and seeing the consistency in the team, that they don't need me. They have questions once in a while, but they can survive without me being on the job and watching them, you know what I mean? So I do a lot of job walks where if I'm close to the job and I'm over here, I'll stop by on a job that the crew had just wired 2-3 days ago, and I do like a little pre-inspection, and man, they did good. So I can literally step away, but it's all your choice. Do you want to step away? Do you want to be involved? Do you want to just stay home and chill? That's not how I am. So I like to be involved. I like to be active. I like when my guys know that I'm active, that I'm around. You know what I mean? So
I guess there's a lot of electricians in watching, right? But we're trying to talk about all the trades in general, right? So any other trades, it applies to everybody in the trades. And for you, Tommy, I mean, you're also in the trades because you're doing stuff with your hands. You're not in an office, right? You're also trying to start a business.
The jobs work pretty similarly, like bidding and all that kind of stuff. So can you walk us through like how someone in trying to start a business would contact you, or like what does that look like? So kind of like how I work on Energize Us now, I do a lot of Instagram marketing, and so I was working with a lot of small companies in our hometown, and kind of finding ones that I think could flourish and like do a lot better if they had a better marketing and like showed who they were and what they did. So actually that ended up being a lot of, like blue collar, like trade. I did a lot of lawn care businesses. I did Will's electrical company. I did a couple other like excavation companies, and just like help them grow. And I would reach out usually over social media because everyone has Instagram nowadays. And I would just be like, hey, this is my, set price for to test it out and like see if you like it. And usually after they do that like once or twice, and then they'd be like, hey, I'm getting a lot of business from this, like, do you have a bigger package? I want to continue with this. And that's how I did. I was just completely Instagram. I know a lot of guys that we've had on the podcast have talked about they would find their side work through Instagram. And I think it's just a really big tool that not a lot of people are utilizing to find more work, and that just opens up another avenue for everyone.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what's cool about the trades. There's so many different things you can do. There's all kinds of different businesses, and I just hope we can keep on like highlighting that.
Especially showing off your work. You know, if they look you up, they're looking for an electrician in their area. They look up the area, and like electrician, you pop up. If you have a nice profile with nice work and it looks presentable, it goes a lot farther than if you have an account that has nothing on it, and, like not much going on.
Yeah.
So definitely.
You want to answer that question, Rudy?
Yeah, so this one's been pinned for a while. It says Ray 10K volts. What is one mistake you made in your first year of business that you learned from? Man, I've been thinking about this since it was pinned, and I'm just trying to go back. Not that I'm perfect, but I mean, I don't remember really making mistakes in my first year of business that I regretted, because I just don't. I mean, I really don't even have an answer for this one, but we have other people here that I guess it's been too long for me to remember, I guess. But if you have an answer for that, any mistakes you made in the beginning?
One, in my early business days, is I started doing work without a contract, and it ended up biting me in the ass, I would say. So every time now that I start a project, even if I know the contractor or anything, I make sure that there's a contract in place just to make sure and keep everyone honest.
I've never had any bad luck like that. I've been fortunate and lucky on that aspect. So how about anybody else?
I mean, little stuff. Like, for me, it was wasting money on marketing avenues. Like, flyer. Or like one of those magazines. It's $400 per city. So I did 3 cities, like $1,200 a month. For 6 months. Spent $1,200 a month for 6 months, thinking I was going to get work from that just because I didn't know. And then switched that to digital marketing. Goose eggs. Just wasting money. I don't really think that I don't regret it. Just learn from it.